Hello everyone, my name is Adam, or Fox, and in this video, I'm going to be comparing the Logitech B910 business grade 1080p webcam with the Logitech C920 consumer grade 1080p webcam, which you're seeing now. This is going to be a photo, video, and audio comparison based on running the webcam at 1080p as close to 30 frames per second as possible. Now, the issue with the Logitech webcam software is it allows for, based on the lighting conditions and things like that, for the webcams to drop a lot of frames and end up running at frame rates sub 30p. So that could be, so a lot of the videos that I recorded with Logitech webcam software are actually reading at 15 frames per second. Now, starting with the photo comparison, one thing you're going to notice, which is why it was requested that I make this comparison by a few of you viewers who watched my previous Logitech webcam showdown video, where I compared most of the 1080p webcams, was that they said that the B910 webcam was a lot sharper. And in a sense, that is true. And if you look at some of the images, I'm just cycling through some of the images, you can see that there is a lot more sharpness and a lot more detail on some of my facial hair, although I had a lot more at the time than I do at the moment. On the B910, you can see every individual hair, both on my head and on my face. However, to me, like, I don't necessarily have a problem with that sharpness, but if you look at on some of the other images, in some of the darker areas, not only is it sharper on my face, but it's a lot noisier on the other areas, which I do not like. Yes, I mean, it's kind of neat that you can see every individual hair on my face or whatever, but if you look at, like, my shirt, I'm wearing a darker gray shirt, or you look to some of the blurred out background, there is noise and artifacting everywhere, and I don't like artifacting, I don't like noise, I don't like any of that. Whereas on the C920, it's a bit softer of an image, but it looks a bit more realistic. Once it's actually in focus, like, you don't see, like, I guess my issue is the B910 looks a lot more gritty, like gritty, super, like gritty realism, whereas the C920 has a bit softer image, but it's a bit nicer to look at. Like, you don't see the outline on every single individual hair on my face, but you also don't have as much noise on, although still some noise, on the background in darker areas. That's just me. I'm going to show you the images and you can compare them and make your choice based on that, but that's my opinion. So I'm going to show a few images. Some are going to be like, there's going to be a default comparison, then I'm going to have with ideal lighting, and then with just like crazy turn all the colors and everything up as possible settings, and you can judge which webcam you would like to use. One thing with the photos that it is important to note also, however, is that the B910 takes photos up to 10 megapixels, I believe, but at a 4:3 ratio, whereas it only goes up to 1080p on the widescreen format, which is fine because you're actually getting a higher resolution out of that, but you are getting a square image. With the C920, however, it stays at 16:9 and can go up to 10 megapixels at 16:9. So that isn't, it's important to note whenever you're taking images, is B910's images reach the best quality at 4:3. C920's best quality is, well, your only quality option on the C920 is at 16:9. Now, I do want to take note that the audio, or that the photos and videos that I took were all taken within the same, like, 20-minute period. On one of my first tests, I made the mistake of recording video samples at different times of day and things like that. I had lights on, lights off, all same time of the day for all of these tests. Next, we're going to move on to audio and video, as they're obviously kind of tied together. The B910 has just this weird blue hue to everything. Again, the same sharpness issues apply, same with the images, but the B910 has this weird kind of blue hue that even when I mess with the colors is still present, especially with the lighting on, even though the lighting's supposed to be white lighting. That is not present with the C920, but the C920 is a bit less sharper and can often, unless you do editing, which I recommend you do on most videos anyway, can have a kind of white wash over it, which you may be seeing now with my lights on. And that's just something to keep in mind. As far as audio is concerned, the B910 has a much, much better microphone. I'm going to play some sample clips here for you to hear, and you can go ahead and start looking at the video comparisons because it's some of the same clips. But with right sound on and off, right sound is an option within Logitech Webcam software, which seems to just add like a small amount of noise gate to the audio to cut out some background noise. Overall, the B910 sounds a lot better with right sound on or off. This is now a test of the Logitech B910 Pro HD webcam for businesses, as close to just everything out of the box default settings as possible. All the settings are on default, the audio is on default, and I have no specific lighting set up for video. It is just me facing the webcam with my computer monitor in front of me and a computer monitor right here, and that's all my light. The rest of the light is actually behind me. So test, test, 1, 2, 3, test, 1, 2, 3. This is everything 100% at default on the C920 webcam, including right sound, right light, all the video settings at default and automatic, with no light behind me, just lights, or no light in front of me, no light behind the webcam, just light behind me, nothing illuminating me from the front. Test, 1, 2, 3, test, 1, 2, 3. This is now a test of the Logitech B910 webcam with ideal lighting behind the webcam, as close to default settings and automatic settings as I can make it. Having two different webcams in, it gets really confused about what the default settings are because the scales for the different sliders are actually totally different despite it being the exact same set of sliders. So this is still with right sound. This is a test. Test, 1, 2, 3. Test, 1, 2, 3. I'm actually going to take a screenshot here of my webcam properties for this instance to show you what I have the contrast, brightness, and color intensity on, because this is what will affect how the image looks. Test. This is a test of the C920 HD Pro webcam as it would sound and look like out of the box if you had video lights or just some sort of light behind the webcam projecting outwards to some degree. It's not projecting right on me, as that would just overexpose everything. But this is right sound, right light, everything on default and automatic settings, but with lights in the background. Test, 1, 2, 3, test, 1, 2, 3. This is now a test of the Logitech B910 Pro HD webcam for businesses, as close to just everything out of the box default settings as possible. All the settings are on default, the audio is on default, and I have no specific lighting set up for video. It is just me facing the webcam with my computer monitor in front of me. This is a test of the C920 HD Pro webcam as it would sound and look like out of the box if you had video lights or just some sort of light behind the webcam projecting outwards to some degree. It's not projecting right on me, as that would just overexpose everything. But this is right sound. Overall, with the video comparison, the C920 has a much brighter and warmer picture, where the B910 has a bit more of a darker and almost more gritty picture with the extra sharpness added in. You can pick and choose which one you prefer, obviously, but the C920 just seems to look a bit more realistic for a sort of like a vloggy in-person video perspective, whereas the B910 is going to be very dark, and I just personally don't feel it's ideal for web video, but that's just me. Again, the choice is yours. I'm simply putting out my samples here for you to compare. There will be file upload links in the description below where you can view the raw files of these. I will upload them to Mega or something like that, so you can view the raw files yourself. That seems to have been requested quite a bit. That way it's not being compressed by YouTube and things like that. Ultimately, it's your decision. Just use these samples as a means of comparison and take my opinion with whatever grain of salt you like. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate your support and your feedback on the previous Logitech videos. And let me know if you have any other webcams you want me to take a look at, and I will catch you in the next video. Links to the B910 and the C920 will be in the description below, as well as my previous videos involving the C920. My name's been Adam or Fox. Have a nice day.